One, obviously everybody's falling asleep on their sleds at one point or another, and just until a couple years ago, I didn't believe in a sit-down sled. I thought it was a lazy man sled, or an old man sled, I called them. Until a couple years ago, I got one, and now I can't hardly stand up. So I do a lot of sitting down and ski poling. And if you're sitting down, you fall asleep easier. So, I'm always maybe chewing on something and ski poling. It helps keep me awake. Well, I was ski poling like crazy, and I was still ski poling when I fell asleep. And when I woke up, I was still ski poling. Without my ski pole.
My plan to stay awake, well, it's not a plan to stay awake, but it's something I do. Like, when I fall asleep on my sled, like, this is what happens. I'm riding along. And I'm telling you, my head hits perfectly right at my handlebar. And it actually works out pretty well. So I'm riding along. A few hours pass, and a few more, and a few more. And I hit my head, and it actually works out fine. Well, and I know that looks painful. It's a painful race, Well, so anyway, I start getting super tired, so I was thinking, well, what if the thunk on my head is not enough to wake me up? And so I started tying things around me, and I'm sure the old pros are saying, oh, you never do that or whatever. Okay, well, I'm a rookie. So I tie something around me, and so when I hit my head, and I fall off the sled, and I'm dragging, and I'm wide awake, dragging backwards, and I'm going, well, how about this? Honestly, this isn't all that bad. I'm like, I'm kind of going down the trail, my dogs are none the wiser, and I'm completely on my back, going, this is a thing. This could be a thing. Maybe I invented something. And I'm going over, and it's like, oh, this kind of hurts, but I mean, it's working. And so we're going around turns and stuff. I'm even saying like, gee, huh? And they ignore me like normal anyway, So that's fine. They're like, well, and so I was like, well, that's when I started really kind of getting roughed up and getting smacked around by trees and stuff. And I thought, well, I better take an active role in getting up, or you never know what's going to happen. So anyway, I kind of rolled and smacked myself into enough trees to where my sled tipped over and I was able to get up. And but that's how I was able to stay awake and to make it here. So anyway, I'm glad I'm here.
All right. Well, it's really not bad. I froze my nose up a couple years ago, and ever since that, I can freeze it up at 30 above. So when it got down to 40 below, I still had a neck gaiter over it, my rough down, and froze up pretty easily. Then the other story I want to tell, it's a little embarrassing, but I guess Christian Turner isn't the only one who peed his pants out there. Between Galena and Hooslia, that shelter cabin everyone's talking about, I passed a little dog trail that went off to the right on a lake, and it was so cold I didn't really want to move my head around too much and let the wind in my rough, and so I went past the shelter cabin about 10 miles, and shortly after I got my dogs bedded down and taken care of, Alan Moore passed by, and he camped right in front of me, and so it was so cold that night I threw everything I had in my sled out on the ground for a ground pad, and got in my sleeping bag and set the alarm for 2 hours and 30 minutes, and I woke up about 3 minutes before the alarm went off, and I had to pee so bad I was trying to kick a hole in my sleeping bag trying to get out, and I just couldn't get out of my sleeping bag fast enough. So yeah, that was something else, but it froze up right away. So, so that's my story.
Tell this story last year. This is kind of about last year's race. if y'all remember, it was a pretty rough one, and we had a lot of glare ice, a lot of no snow, excuse me, and I had kind of a rough go. My dogs weren't doing that good. They didn't hardly eat anything till Ruby, so I couldn't get anything going, couldn't really race the dogs very well, but making our way up the coast and kind of hanging in there, and left Koyuk, and there was a bunch of teams ahead of me, and I figured my only chance to make a move is to skip Elam, and but the teams were faster than me. They were in front of me, and so I'm going towards Elam and come into Elam. And I thought, oh, please be a bunch of mushers there, you know. And sure enough, there's like 8 drivers there, and I'm like, yes. And but this storm was coming in, you know, and so I'm just like a man on a mission. I'm packing all my stuff, you know, and I hear this checker like, don't go. I hear this background noise, you know, don't go, it's real bad. And Pete Kaiser like, oh man, you just wait out here with us. And Martin Boozer took 12 hours, you know. Martin's a whip, whatever, you know. Grab my stuff and I'm going to get out of there, you know. This is my big move, and so I pull out of there, and from there we kind of go up into some pretty steep hills, and at one point we climb. I don't know if it's Little McKinley, but it's a big, high, exposed mountain, and I'm really just giving her going up this mountain and getting pretty sweaty, and I could see or feel the winds to my back, and then we turn and go up this face, and the wind's from my right, and so the wind's starting. I have Northern Outfitter bibs, and if any of you've seen those, they had these big baffles on the front, and so I had the baffles down so the air could get in there and dry my gear out. But as we turn and I was getting the side wind, the wind's just going right in there, and so I grab my zipper pull and pull up the downwind zipper, and grab the zipper pull, pull the upwind zipper, and zipper pull pulls off. And this is bad, you know, because that's the upwind side, and things are getting a little cold downtown real quick. So, oh man, you know, what am I going to do here? And that's when I realized the intensity of this storm, you know, because it had been to my back the whole time, and I'm like, oh man, this ain't good. And then right then I had this recollection of this crazy moment in the Yukon Quest we had a few years back. We were at this cabin, Trout Creek Cabin, and it's like 2 or 3 in the morning, and me and a couple other guys there, I remember Hans Gott was there, and we're all waking up together, and we're putting on our stuff, and you know, I'm half asleep, and I noticed behind me, this dude's strapping on a beaver fur bikini. Yeah, I had the same reaction, you know. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? And you know, and the other guys notice it too, you know, and we're all like, where's this going? And the guy who was wearing the beaver skin bikini, he's a nice guy. He can see the look of, you know, grave concern on our face. And he's like, no. I frostbit myself down there. And we're like, oh, dude, rough. And so there I am, like on this mountain with the zipper pull in my hand going, you know, I don't want to wear a beaver skin bikini for the rest of my life here. So I got down into the next hollow and put the hook in and camped for about 5-6 hours and made a nice cover with a couple dog coats. And you won't see me in a beaver skin bikini.